Eric Morkai's great company and a strike of Blackmanes reached the mountainous jungle world of Shibal after a long toil through the warp. The planet was home to the Obsidian Jaguars chapter, noble warriors who were stout of heart and strong of arm. Morkai had fought alongside them before and knew they would be valuable allies. But Shibal had fallen to Goth orcs, and the Space Wolves found its orbit strewn with the wrecks of Adeptus Astartes warships, liveried in the deep sable of the Obsidian Jaguars. Morkai desired vengeance. He knew the Space Wolves could not retake the world with their few warriors, but resolved to strike hard, reasoning that the Obsidian Jaguars' gene seed stores might still be intact. The Blackmanes and bulk of Morkai's gunships and armor would distract the orcs, drawing the brutes away from the Obsidian Jaguars' fortress monastery, the Saber. At the same time, the Sons of Morkai would infiltrate the Bastion, extract any remaining gene seed, and destroy its Genitorum. The resulting detonation would not only deny the structure to the enemy, but also hurl debris for miles in all directions, annihilating those orcs not killed by the initial blast. The Blackmane's drop pod slammed into Seebhall's surface, scant miles from the great ebon edifice of the Saber. They seized high ground above the steaming jungles as Thunderhawks landed the Sons of Morkai's battle tanks. Gunships zoomed overhead, strafing orc camps with torrents of punishing fire and baiting the savage greenskins towards the waiting Blackmanes. But the orcs' numbers were great, and the Blackmanes were soon beset by thousands and driven further up the rocky slopes. Meanwhile, Goth tank busters fired hails of rockets into the air, blasting many Space Wolves gunships out of the sky. As the battle raged, Eric Morkai and several packs of Wolf Scouts, infiltrators and incursors slipped into the Saber through service and refuse tunnels. They cut down any Xenos they came across with well-aimed bolter fire and knife thrusts, hiding the bodies to ensure that the mission was not undone by their premature discovery. Morkai and his warriors made for their target swiftly, one detachment tasked to the Genitorum, another to the Gene Seed vaults. The orcs had desecrated the Saber's hallowed halls and passageways. Crude graffiti was daubed on the walls. Piles of refuse and discarded trinkets befouled every corner. Artifacts of stone, turquoise and gold, dating from throughout the Obsidian Jaguars' history, lay smashed on the ground. Though time was against them, the Space Wolves carefully took down the bodies of Space Marines who had been nailed to the walls and hacked to death. Morkai's desire for vengeance burned even stronger. The orcs would pay for their crimes. Eric Morkai serves as a Wolf Lord of the Space Wolves chapter during the era Indomitus. Deriving his title from the fell, two-headed wolf god of Fenrisian mythology, said to have been bested by Primarch Leman Russ in his youth, this totemic guardian of the lowest halls of the dead is a fitting symbol for this dour Jarl. His Sons of Morkai great company, boasting a larger proportion of scouts than their peers, these specialists of stealth operations mimic their master's solitary and grim reputation. Brutal, decisive, and taciturn in nature, woe betide any enemy of the rout requiring the intervention of Morkai's chosen. Worthy of a Wolf Lord's capable of fear, Eric would likely be the cause of their unease. Elected as Jarl by virtue of his violent and extremely effective methods, his own blood twin, Ernest the Wise, has never been forgiven for leaving his great company in favor of serving as a rune priest of Logan Grimnar's own great company. Clad in a master-crafted suit of artificer armor, bearing a belt of Russ as his badge of office, Eric charges into battle wielding twin frost axes as an omen of death incarnate. Saving billions of innocent lives on the world of Suldabrax, Eric's bravery battling a demon prince of Slaanesh in single combat would be further galvanized by his valor made following the opening of the Great Rift. Hunting the Drukhari Cabal of the Shattered Hand during 822.M41, the rampage of the Deathwolves on the world of Lutin Necropolis put an end to the disgusting experiments made by the Xenos. Aiding the plight of the Obsidian Jaguars chapter of Space Marines as their homeworld was besieged by the Greenskins, the Sons of Morkai, with aid from elements of the Blackmane's great company, made all haste to the Skarskel subsector. Deploying to the jungle world of Shibal, Eric Morkai, having fought by the side of the Jaguars prior, would not allow their fiefdom to fall. Their arrival to the system, finding only shipwreckages of their chapter strewn around the planet's orbit. Seeking vengeance for his allies' losses, Eric made all haste to the Jaguars' gene seed storage facilities, descending through the depths of their fallen fortress monastery to find only ruin. Placing melter bomb charges to sunder what remained, Morkai ordered a full withdrawal before destroying the fortress from orbit, killing millions of orcs in the process. The death wolf of Fenris's efforts in purging the wicked continuing to this day, his anger felt at the desolation of his homeworld, ravaging of the Obsidian Jaguars, and loss of innocent lives, stoking his hunger for destruction.